What is going on, guys, and welcome back. So the LCS just finished up. It was LCS number 8, and we had our total deck breakdown. There's 208 players in this tournament, and the most represented deck was actually Virtual Worlds, which we're here to cover today. We're talking about how to beat Virtual World. This deck, some people thought it was going to be okay. Most people thought it was really not going to be that good. I didn't look into it too much. I really haven't seen too much about like post Phantom Rage period. Just kind of lots going on with the holidays, and in Wisconsin here we have deer season coming up, so I've been super busy. That's why we haven't posted a whole lot, but we're going to try and get some stuff scheduled out for you guys while we're away, so hopefully you will have good content for a few weeks set up. But anyway, 208 players, 23 played Virtual World, 22 played Zodiac and Infernobles, 22 each, not together, 21 Dragon Links, 16 Prank Kids, 15 Eldritch, 15 Phantom Knights, 13 Dinosaur, 13 Dogmatica Invoked, 5 Sky Striker, 5 Buster Blader Dogmatica, and 38 players played other decks. So we see Phantom Rage has so far a huge impact on our meta. We're going to see if Virtual World and Zodiac in these decks still stick around as high, like tier 1 type decks, or if this just happened to be people weren't quite ready for them. But Virtual World, Zodiac, and Prank Kids all got, well, either came in Phantom Rage or got big boosts in it, and they were 3 of the top 5 represented decks. Phantom Knights also seeing a bunch more representation, so that was actually really cool to see. The top cut was broken down to the top 16, where 7 of the top 16 was Virtual World, and that's why we're covering it today, guys, because this deck really just completely slapped everyone around. 3 Zodiac, so Virtual World and Zodiac were the top 2 in top cut. 2 Dragon Links, 2 Infernobles, 1 Dinosaur, and then 1 Invoked Dogmatica playing the Shadal engine package as well. I'm not sure how big it was, if it was just the Shadal Winda combo play, or if there was actually a little more to it. We'll see once the deck list comes out. If you want to see what these top deck lists were playing as far as hand traps, tech cards, side deck cards, things like that, make sure you go check out James's video. It should be up anytime now as well. He's actually sponsored by Luxury, so that's a huge shout out to him. He's doing great things with his channel. And yeah, so what made top 4 then? We know the top 16. I actually caught the end of this on Luxury Gaming's Twitch stream. 3 of the top 4 were Virtual World. Yeah. So not only were they the most represented deck, they took almost 50% of the top cut. They took 3 of the top 4 spots. And then Infernobles also took a top spot. And the finals was a Virtual World mirror match. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys one of their combos. We're going to talk about what do they do, how to counter them, and how to side, some things like that. And let's kind of get on into it, guys. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you like our content, you know, stick around. We're also going to be live streaming on December 12th the Dragon Rider Championship Series. It's kind of like this one. It's a luxury tournament. It's a $12 entry as opposed to $20. I'll have a link to his group in the description below, and there is a pinned post in the top of that group for the event where you guys can click on it, go and join that, or come hang out with us on stream. We're going to have a bunch of giveaways for you guys, but you have to be present to win. We do have our AA Zeus giveaway as soon as our Phantom Rage boxes come in. I actually need to message the guy because it's taking way too long. So hopefully we'll get those in, give away an AA Zeus to a subscriber. That one you do not need to be present for. Simply subscribe to the channel. And yeah, so go find the DCS Dragon Rider Championship Series. Come play. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to hang out on stream, cover it, talk about top decks, combos, things like that, who's doing what, and probably won't be as big as the LCS, but it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. So check it out. What does Virtual World do? So we have a combo here to show you guys. Break it down a little bit here. You're going to see it's a VFD turbo deck. And okay, well, there's so many counters to VFD. You got Droplet, you got Imperm, you got Gamma, you have like all these cards, but they end with a trap card that they can pop their own VFD to dodge the Imperm, to dodge the Droplet unless you send a trap, to dodge. I mean, Gamma's still going to hit it, but like they can actually put out 2 VFDs sometimes too. Like, it's crazy what the deck can do, potentially making VFD through hand traps, through Nibiru sometimes, not always. And yeah, so double VFD possibly. Otherwise, their own archetype boss monsters, a level 9 Synchro that is basically a macro Cosmos on legs. So can Colossus come back? No, probably not. I think that it's fine where it is. But yeah, their trap Chuchi pops VFD to protect it from targeting negation like Imperm and, well, not necessarily targeting, but on-field negation like a Forbidden Droplet. Also, this deck is very graveyard recursive, so once they get their initial play, like, they can just start popping off on their follow-up play and really grind out wins and play really good that way. Shen Shen is their Macrocosmos, and you can just banish 2 cards from your graveyard, different type and attributes, and special summon it. And guess what? The combo puts multiples of that into the grave for them, so they're going to be able to keep bringing it back, which is pretty darn good for them. So let's go ahead, watch the combo, and see what they do. This one we're going to end on VFD plus Shen Shen, the Macrocosmos. So for this, we were essentially assuming that, like, just opening the Lili and the Virtual World City, like 2-card combo. That's why we're not necessarily going to use the other cards in our hand, just Lili and Virtual World City. There's lots of combo videos, so I would definitely go study the deck, guys. It's going to be around for a while. It might not be as dominant as it was this weekend, but they're going to do a lot of things. So you can just see, like, what they do, like targeting their cards and then sending a different one. Like, they target a monster, they send a spell or trap. They target the trap, they send a spell or monster, summon, add to hand, things like that. Like, they just keep popping off and going pretty damn crazy. So we're going to go ahead and the graveyard effect too. Like, not only can Chuchi protect the VFD and pop it to get rid of those, they can also use it on their turn, banish it, and turn their level 6 into a 3 or a 9. Like, they can make it go up or down levels. And that's why they can easily make the Shen Shen for the any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. So that's pretty crazy. And then keep in mind, like, if you make XYZ monster and, like, detach it, that it goes to the graveyard because it's not leaving the field. XYZ materials are still sent to the graveyard, but they're not on the field. So do keep that in mind, like, especially Cyber Dragon players. Like, if you have your Hers attached, it will go to the graveyard and trigger still. But we're going to banish the Chuchi, sorry, these names are like crazy, and make our Lao Lao level 9, and then just make your VFD like that. So really pretty crazy what the deck can do. So let's go ahead and talk about how to counter the deck. Well, let's go back into that replay, kind of pause it here. Oops. Why'd we hit previous? What are we doing here? Step, step, step. Okay. So by playing the World City, they're going to go, oops, swap, swap. Really trying to just confuse you guys here. Get out their trap cards. So obviously things you can do here, like once they get their full board and they have the VFD, if you have, like, if you open Imperm Ogre, you can actually hold them both, because you can go to Imperm, chain Imperm to the VFD to negate it, and then they're going to target one face-up card on the field, and they're gonna, obviously that's the activation requirement, and then they'll shuffle 2 of their banished Virtual World cards with different names for each other into the deck, destroy that card. But if you have Ghost Ogre, it's a continuous trap, so it needs to stay up on the field to resolve. So you have, like, a Droplet and you don't have a trap, but if you have Forbidden Droplet, you can send a trap card and they can't chain the Chuchi. Or if you have, like, Imperm and Ogre, you can Imperm the VFD, they'll chain Chuchi, and then you chain Ogre to destroy it so it doesn't resolve, and then Imperm will negate the VFD. So opening something similar to that. Otherwise, let's go ahead and go a little bit further. That's one way to help counter the deck. But then, yeah, the Lili is going to target the Chuchi, and obviously if they open, like, Lulu, that's going to be their main starter of the deck, which is just really good because it mills and adds. But, you know, you can only use 1 effect per turn. So essentially, like, gamma-ing it is pretty strong because obviously they lose the card, you get yours, and now they don't get the free dump, especially like gamma-ing of the Lulu if they open with it, because they're not going to get the free mill, they're not going to get the add to the hand, so that's going to be pretty strong. Even ashing the Lulu, it's a little skeptical on the Li if you should ash it, because I mean, if they open the Lulu too, they can just play the Lili and, you know, try to bait the ash, because then they're going to send DD Crow also coming in pretty clutch here, because you can, like, DD Crow the King Long, and because they're going to banish it from the graveyard to add a Virtual World monster from their deck to their hand, and that's another way that they're going to get to their Lulu pretty easily. So if they open Pot of Desires and you are playing Droll and Lockbird still, obviously Droll and Lock them right away, because if they, you know, open with Desires, they're not going to be able to Lulu to add to their hand, they're not going to be able to King Long to add to their hand, so drone lock can come up a little bit that way as well. But yeah, so the deck's just pretty nuts in what it can do. I'm actually probably going to start messing around and playing it a little bit more, because that's probably the best way to learn a deck from what I have found, in my opinion. So like here, that's how they get to their Lulu. And now at this point, then they also just send a card, because they're going to replace it when they draw off the Crocodon anyway, or Crocodragon, sorry. So now using the Lulu, now here, I would probably, if they open with the Lily, always Ash, if you have just Ash, save it for the Lulu. Probably just the best thing you could do. I mean, even like the King Long, but you might as well just save it for Lulu, because if they already open Lulu, then that's going to be kind of irrelevant. Probably just search out their follow-up card anyway. So if you have the Ash, save it for Lulu. Obviously, like we said, gammaing the VFD is going to be the strongest, because even if they pop it, it still negates it, because it doesn't need to be on the field. But otherwise, Droplet, sending a trap, Imperm with an Ogre. Let's go ahead and see what other types of counters we can come up with for the deck. Obviously, too, if you open like Imperm and you're playing like Twin Twisters or Cosmic Cyclone, same as the Ogre, like destroying the Chuchi before it can resolve, removing it from the field, so that way it can't resolve, because being a continuous trap, it needs to stay on the field to get the effect. So then you can negate the VFD and then chain to their Chuchi to get rid of it and clear it off that way. So that's our summon number 4. We're going to go ahead and draw a card here. And now, probably right now would probably be the best time to Nibiru them, I assume, because as soon as they get, like, you let them go one more and they get the Shen on board, they can banish from their graveyard to bring the Shen back, and then it's still a Macrocosmos. So I mean, like, right now is probably the best chance to Nibiru them. You're gonna, depending on their hand, they might still be able to do some stuff, you know, because we didn't even normal summon yet. So keep that in mind. Nibiru, you're probably gonna pretty well stop them, but not like outright absolutely kill them every time. So Nibiru pretty good. Ashing, save it for the Lulu to stop the mill and the add, because they're gonna mill the King Long and then search the monster too, since they target the trap, send the spell, add the monster, and then the King Long's also gonna add another card to their hand. So that Lulu's just like free add 2 cards to your hand, which is crazy. So save the Ash for the Lulu. Nibiruing right now, as you can see on the board. Lily, you kind of just got to let it go through and roll and wait for that Lulu to come out. Like I said, Droplet, sending a trap works really well. Negate, like with Imperm, and then have like a Cosmic, a Twisters, an Ogre, something to get rid of the trap card. Gamma, just might as well save Gamma for the VFD and call it a day, because at that point you're in a really good position. And if they do have the macro on field even, you can still go into like a level 8 synchro of your own and run that over, and just gain the advantage that you need to for the game. So pretty, I don't want to say simple, because the deck has a lot to it. We're gonna, you know, continue looking into it, maybe even have a deck profile for you guys, combos on the deck, because that's how we end up starting most of our how to beat decks. We start playing them and see what they do. Side decks, what can you side deck? So they're pretty graveyard reliant, so things like if you can make a Abyss Dweller, that's going to help a lot. Because I mean, like, what do we do in the graveyard? You know, you banish the Chuchi for level modulation, you got the King Long to add to hand, the Nyan can special summon itself from the graveyard. Like, these are all effects that activate in the graveyard. Like, so they do have quite a bit going on there that like Abyss Dweller or Silent Graveyard are going to hit. If you're playing like stuns or trap cards, like Summon Limit, really strong. Pretty much this entire format, you know, combo heavy format, Summon Limit really strong. DD Crow being able to, you know, hit that King Long right away, and you know, stop that. So other things, I mean, you could Ghost Bell the Nyan, but I mean DD Crow is just better overall, because you can hit more stuff and be a little more versatile with your play and whatnot. So yeah, this is kind of a simple how to beat virtual world. Let me know if you have other ideas, other text choices, things like that. Side decking, I mean, there's going to be a lot you can side deck. You know, that's pretty deck specific. Like your things that stop banishing even. I mean, that's really the only banish. And then Nyan's going to get banished anyway. But that's it would just go to the grave instead if you had like a Lancia. So Lancia, I mean, it would stop the King Long, but that's about it. So I probably wouldn't play that there. You know, it's just kind of, like we said, if you can put up your board first, negating the Lulu and stopping what you can there. But yeah, Silent Graveyard, Sighting, Summon Limit, Abyss Dweller, DD Crows, and then what we said about actually negating to stop their board, letting it go through, and then, you know, using multiple cards to take care of the trap and the VFD if needed. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned a little bit, and this is our take on how to beat Virtual Worlds. Might change it up into an updated one after we play the deck more and see how resilient it truly is. But after watching a bunch of the Twitch streams and watching a ton of combo videos today to get a real good idea on how the deck performs, these are just some tips that I have for you guys. We will also be working on an updated how to beat Infernobles, how to beat Zodiac. That'll actually probably be our next one, is how to beat Zodiac, and how to beat Prank Kids, because we already did Dragon Link. Actually, I don't think we ever did Infernoble, so we will probably push that one right up to the top. We were going to get around to it, but too much came up. So how to beat Infernobles, Zodiac, and Prank Kids coming soon. Make sure you subscribe, guys. Take care.